Good Shabbos, good Yom Tif, Shabbat Shalom, Chag Sameach. It's the season of our freedom, Zaman Cherutenu, as we said in Kiddush and in davening, and it's an especially poignant time to keep in mind those who are not free. Evan Gershkovich is a journalist for the Wall Street Journal, an American Jew who was arrested in Russia last week and is being held on charges of espionage. Please God, even before Pesach is over, may Evan and those who are being held against their will experience the liberation that we're celebrating at this season. Love makes you do crazy things, and it is life-changing, there's no doubt about it. You never forget the love of youth, and thanks to our beautiful High Holiday Choir and the great composer of synagogue music, Lewandowski, we will never forget the words of the prophet Jeremiah. Zacharti lach chesed ne'urayich. I remind you, says God, of the kindness of your youth, ahavas kalulosayich, your newlywed love. Lechtecha charai b'midbar be'eretz lo zerua, how you followed me into the wilderness, into an unsown land. I'm certainly not going to sing it, but if you think for a minute about Zacharti lach, you'll think of the Musaf on Rosh Hashanah and the verses of remembrance, Zichronos, and this beautiful passage. It's surprisingly not part of any Haftorah during the year, though some years we read part of this chapter 2 of Jeremiah as a Haftorah for Parshas Masei, but the story, if you'll think about it for just a moment, is our story of Pesach and Exodus and how we, as a youthful betrothed, followed God out into the desert, into the unknown, really. The Netziv, Rav Naftali Tzvi Yehuda Berlin, explains that the days of Pesach, after the first two, which focus, of course, on redemption and freedom, the rest of the holiday is really about the love between HaKadosh Baruch Hu and Knesset Yisrael, the Jewish people. Rabbi Sachs writes about the nature of love and how it relates to our story. He contrasts the first 2 days of Pesach, which are about righteousness and reason and the justice of liberation from Egypt. Morally, logically, it doesn't make sense that one nation should dominate another and subjugate them and keep them as slaves. So the Exodus story, and the story that we spent the last 2 nights telling, is about what's right and what's true and what's good. We've been telling this story for thousands of years, and it has begun to sink into the rest of humankind. They've come to acknowledge, even if only in the last 150 years or so you have to be very patient sometimes, they've come to acknowledge that slavery is wrong and should be abolished. Now we're working on the subjugation and domination issues, but look, things take time. But as Lord Sachs emphasizes, there's more to the story here. There is certainly the political narrative of freedom and liberation that's emphasized on the first 2 days. There's certainly the theological significance of the defeat of idolatry, false gods, and the service of the one true God, creator of heaven and earth. There's a part of the story, though, that is beyond what reason can explain, and that is love. Love has to do with desire, the desire of the lover and the beloved to be alone together, away from the eyes of all, just delighting in each other's company. This is the story of the Bnei Yisrael following God out into a land of mysterious, into the unknown. Listen again to Jeremiah. Ko Amar Hashem, thus says God, I recall for you the kindness of your youth, the love of your days as a bride, when you followed me out into the wilderness, into a land that was unplanted. The imagery here is of promise, of hope, and of devotion. None of these really have to do with reason or rationality. They're sentiments of the heart, of emotion and feeling. One of the insights into the holiday that we're right in the middle of is that when God liberated our bodies from slavery, the rest of our faculties and abilities were also redeemed. We say that since the exodus from Egypt, our souls are free at their essence. Even a person like Evan, whom we mentioned, who is in prison, realizes that this is not his destiny or true existence. And like many other Jews who sat in prisons in Russia before him, that person longs every moment to be free. Even more, the ability to speak was liberated with the exodus from Egypt. So, our celebration of this holiday is not with a shofar, not with building a sukkah, but in telling the story, with using words, our capacity to speak, to recount what happened to us so we can never forget it, and to praise and thank God for this life-changing moment in our people's history and in the life of each one of us. That's a deeper meaning into what we said the last 2 nights at the Seder. If God had not taken us out, we and our children and our children's children would still be slaves to Pharaoh. We take the name Pesach from verses in the Torah, and at the same time we note that the name recalls for us the 2 words Peh and Sach. Peh is mouth and Sach means it speaks, so this holiday is the holiday of the mouth, forming the words both of the story and of the praises and thanksgivings that are appropriate to it. You could even say that the holiday itself is a celebration of the fact that we know how to speak, how to express ourselves, which is the way we build relationships and express love and broaden and deepen it. This has a unique expression on the Shabbat of Chol Hamoed Pesach, when we join together this whole celebration of love and expression together with Shabbat itself, which we say in the Friday night Kiddush every Shabbos of the year, marks the Shabbat that God gave us in love. Shabbat kadsho bi'ahava uveratzon hin chilanu, a gift given to us with love and desire. May we always be worthy of it and always be generous of heart and spirit to return the love, and always find words to express our love and our gratitude. Good Shabbos, Chag Sameach.